Word 2000 has certain hidden pieces of information about the file, generally referred to as user information. Some Word users use the author's name for the return address while printing envelopes. You can view and change the user information and then subsequently use it if you like. To view and change the information, you need to select Tools, Options. Select the User Information tab. Here you can change the name, initials and mailing address fields. You click on them and retype the new information. When the required information has been modified, you can click on Cancel to abort the changes. Or click on OK or press Enter to confirm them. Word 2000 also has another display of information that tells you everything you need to know about a particular Word file. These are listed as file properties. To display the properties of a file, you need to open the file whose properties you wish to view. Select File, Properties. The Properties dialog box opens out with 5 tabs displaying various aspects about the file. The General tab lists the following: file type, location, size, date of creation, date last accessed or modified, MS-DOS equivalent name, file attribute, read-only, hidden, etc. The Summary tab lists the following: document title, subject, author, manager and company. Category, keywords and comments are also displayed if they have been defined by the user. The Statistics tab lists the following: file creation date, date last accessed or modified, date last printed, last person to save the file in a shared file environment, total editing time, total number of times the file was edited, file statistics, total pages, paragraphs, words, characters, etc. The Contents tab lists the various components or parts of a file in terms of titles, headings, sections, etc. Finally, the Custom tab lets you define customized properties of the file. Once all the properties elements have been defined, click on OK to confirm. To print a file with its properties, you should mark the Document Properties checkbox in the Print tab of the Options dialog box. Let us now take a quick review of the process of opening files. As you will recall, you can open a file by pressing Ctrl+O from the keyboard, or selecting File, Open through the menu bar. When using the File menu option, you can also use the recently used files listed at the bottom of the drop-down menu to open a recently used file. The file list usually shows a list of 4 file names. You can increase the number of files being listed by selecting Tools, Options. Selecting the General tab, ensuring that the checkbox against recently used files list is marked, and increasing the value to whatever number you want listed. Ctrl+O or File, Open leads to the Open dialog box. The Open dialog box shows the Places bar with a listing of standard locations. The Look In display, which allows you to switch to a different drive or folder. The File Lists display area, which lists all the files in the currently selected directory. The File Name text box, where you can directly type in a file name. The File of Type text box with a drop-down list to let you select from the format of the file if it is not the standard Word.doc format. Once the file to be opened has been selected, you can open the file in many ways. Press Enter, or click on Open, or double-click the file name itself, or click on the Open Options down-facing arrow and select from the available list. To close a file, you need to click on the Close icon at the top right of the document. Or select File, Close. To close all files in one command, you need to hold down the Shift key in the keyboard. Select File from the menu bar. Select Close All. The standard close command changes to the close all command when you press the Shift key and then select File menu. The other buttons at the top of the open dialog box also help you to locate and manage files. The back button helps you to access recently opened files and folders. The up one level button makes the look-in display to the previous level of the directory tree. The Search the Web button allows you to search for your file on the internet, assuming you have internet connectivity on the PC. The X button deletes selected files after providing a warning. The Create New Folder button allows you to create a new folder under the currently selected folder in the look-in display. The Views button allows you to select the various types of views or choices of arranging the files by a selected criterion, name, date, size, etc. If you click on the down arrow along this button, you get a drop-down list of all the views for you to select from. Alternatively, if you repeatedly click on this button, you will cycle through the various views. One of the useful view features is the preview, which lets you see a sample portion of the document in a preview window. This is particularly useful when you are working with files that have many versions. The Tools button gives you further file folder management capabilities. There are various ways in which you can select the location for opening files. The Places bar on the left stores shortcuts to some of the more commonly used folders. The History icon stores a list of files that have been used recently, thereby reducing your time of having to select the folder or drive it may be located in. The My Documents icon displays the contents of the My Documents folder, the default folder that Word saves documents to and opens documents from. The Desktop icon gives you the contents of the desktop folder. Any file stored on the desktop also appears as an icon on the desktop. The Favorites icon leads to the Favorites folder, where you store shortcuts to frequently used templates, bookmarked sites, or pages on the web. The Web icon gives you access to files and folders stored on web servers that are saved in the HTML format. To open more than one file at a time, you need to select all the files to be opened before you click the Open button. Once the Open File dialog box is open, there are two methods to selecting multiple files: selecting a continuous series of files or selecting a random set of files. To select a continuous series of files, click on the first file of the series. Hold down the Shift key. Click on the last file in the continuous series. Release the Shift key. To select random files, click on the first file. Hold down the Control key. Click on the other files that you wish to open. Release the Control key. After the files have been selected, click on the Open button to open them all. With so many files open, you would need to know how to switch from one file to another. There are three ways to do this. Press Ctrl plus F6 and keep switching from one file to another. Or select the window menu and use the file list to go to the file you want. Or click on the desired document button displayed on the taskbar at the bottom of the screen. Word allows you to choose the mode in which you wish to open a file. You first need to select the file or files to be opened. Then click on the down arrow next to the Open button to view the options, open the original file, open as read-only. You can read the contents but cannot edit them. Open as a copy. Opens a copy version as indicated by the title bar. You then point to the option you want and release the mouse button. If you double-click on the file name, it will directly open the original file. If you single-click the file name to select it, you then have to use the Open button to open the file. You can also open files by using the shortcut menu, also called the pop-up menu. Once you have selected the files to be opened, you need to right-click the selection. From the pop-up menu, choose from among the open modes. The open dialog box can be used to print one or multiple files. To print files from this dialog box, you need to select the file or files to be printed. Right-click the selection to invoke the shortcut menu, pop-up menu. Select Print.
यह मेथड तब बहुत उपयोगी साबित होती है जब आपको कई सारी फाइल्स प्रिंट करनी होती है जो आप जानते हैं कि फाइनल ड्राफ्ट्स हैं। इसका सामान्य और लंबा चौड़ा तरीका यह होता कि आपको एक के बाद एक सभी फाइलें खोलनी पड़ती और फिर उन्हें प्रिंट करना होता।
While the open dialog box provides very basic utilities to locate a file, there are times when you may not remember the drive or folder to look in. In such cases, you would opt for Word's Find File utility. In earlier versions of Word, this was an option from the File menu. But Word 2000 incorporates the Find File utility into the open dialog box. You can search for a file by either the file name or a word or phrase that exists within the file. To search for a file by the file name, you need to invoke the open dialog box, press Ctrl+O, or click on the open icon. Select the down arrow next to Tools. Select the Find command. This displays the Find dialog box. You first define the location of where the search should start in the Look In folder. If you want to include the search across all subdirectories under the selected folder, then mark the checkbox against Search Subfolders. Choose the property type from the property drop-down list. Example, File Name. In the Value field, define the value to be searched. Example, the word or phrase that exists in the file or the file name itself. In the Conditions drop-down list, choose whether the value defined includes, begins with or ends with in the property type. Click on Add to List. To start the search, you need to click on the Find Now button. The system takes its own time to search through the folders to locate the file. If it finds the files by the defined criteria, the files will be listed in the dialog box. You can double-click the file to open it. The Open dialog box also allows for basic file management functionality involving copy, delete, rename. It also allows you to create a shortcut to a file. All these are available from the shortcut menu or pop-up menu. To access file management commands through the pop-up menu, you need to invoke the Open dialog box, press Ctrl+O, or click on the Open icon. Select the file you wish to perform file management commands on. Right-click the mouse button to invoke the pop-up menu. The pop-up menu offers you various file management commands. To delete a file, select the Delete command. Word confirms whether you really wish to delete the selected file. Yes will send the file to the recycle bin, while No will cancel the delete process. To change the name of a file, select the Rename command. The file name turns into an editable text box for you to retype a new name. Caution must be exercised here to ensure that the file extension remains unchanged. Else, the application that the file is associated with may not recognize the file type and the file will not open. To create a shortcut, you select the Create Shortcut command. A shortcut to the file is created in the same folder. You can then place the shortcut in the desired location by selecting the shortcut file. Right-clicking it to invoke the pop-up menu. Selecting Send To, and then selecting destination location for the shortcut. Word allows various user-definable options for the save command. These allow for automatic or background saving, password protection, and other save options. All the file saving options are available from the Options dialog box. To access save options, you need to select Tools, Options. In the Options dialog box, select the Save tab. All the options are available as checkboxes. Let us now understand the utility of each. The Always Create a Backup Copy option makes Word save a previous version of the file into another file with the same name and a .wbk extension. This is very useful when you wish to revert to an earlier saved version of the file or the currently saved one is inaccessible for some reason. When you close the file and try to open it again from the Open dialog box, you can see both the original as well as the .wbk versions of the file. Select All Files in the Files of Type text box. This option occupies more disk space as there are now two versions of the same file stored on the disk. The Allow Fast Saves option makes Word do quick saves on the file. In this case, Word does not save the whole file but saves only the modifications made to it between the previous and the current save processes. The Prompt for Document Properties option makes Word display the File Properties dialog box each time the save command is invoked. This is particularly useful when one needs to add comments or keywords regarding the file. The Prompt to Save Normal Template option makes Word prompt you regarding the changes that might have been made to the normal .dot file, Word 2000 template file, when you are closing down Word. The Embed TrueType Fonts option can be used if your computer has extra TrueType fonts installed. This is useful when you are sending files with some special fonts to someone whose computer may not have the fonts. This option may be used to save the file before sending it. Otherwise, the recipient of the file may not be able to see the font in the true font type you had defined them as. The Save Data Only for Forms option ensures that data entered into a Word 2000 fill-in form is saved as a single database record. Otherwise, the form as well as the data get saved within the file. The Allow Background Saves option makes Word perform background saves while you continue to use the file. The Save Auto Recover Info option allows you to define a time frame in minutes after which Word will automatically save the file. This is a useful option to have on at all times since it prevents the loss of data due to power or system failures. The other options concern file security features. The Password to Open option ensures that a password dialog box is invoked every time someone tries to open the file. This option must be used with caution. While it provides access security to the file, one can never use the file if one forgets the password. The Password to Modify option ensures that a password dialog box is invoked if the user wishes to edit the contents of the file. Unless the correct password is supplied, the file is opened in the read-only mode. The Read-Only recommended option ensures that a password dialog box appears advising the user to continue using a read-only version of the file. Functionally, this option can be ignored and one can gain access to an editable version. It is useful where many people have to view a file's contents and the author may not want anyone to accidentally make changes. The Disable features not supported by Word 97 option ensures that the saved version of the Word 2000 file has no special formatting that cannot be accessed by Word 97. This is useful when sharing files between computers that have these two different versions of Word, as it guarantees that they are compatible. Word 2000 has a new feature called the Scrap feature. It allows you to select a part of or the entire Word file and then drag it to the Windows desktop as a shortcut. This selection on the desktop is called a scrap, which is a copy of the original file. To use the scrap feature, you need to open the file. Ensure that Word is not running in the full screen mode, otherwise you will not be able to see the desktop. Click on the Restore button to ensure that a part of the desktop is visible. Select the file or a part of it. Click once on the selection in the Word window and keep the mouse button pressed. Drag the selection onto the desktop. Release the mouse. The scrap version and the original file are independent of each other, so changes to either will not affect the other. Word allows you to insert the contents of a document or a text file into a Word document. Both files need to have the same style, or else the style of the document being merged will be applied to the first file. To insert a file into another Word document, you need to place the insertion point where the second file is to be inserted. Select Insert, File to open the Insert File dialog box, which is the same as the File Open dialog box. Select the file to be inserted from the appropriate folder. If the file has a different format, Word prompts you to select the format to be converted from. Select the Insert button or press Enter. The Insert File feature allows you to only insert text and documents. For graphics and pictures, you need to use the Insert Picture command.